Hey guys, rolling again with Safe Financial with another short video. Now this one is a video of a fee-based advisor, I'm guessing, named Mike Lester, and I was just perusing through YouTube and found this video, and I thought it would be a good video to use a counterpoint regarding annuities. So his topic is the worst thing that you can do with your retirement money is annuities. So you guys know how I feel about annuities, so this would be, I think, a good video to watch.
The worst thing you can do with your money in retirement, in my opinion, annuity. So we're going to go through the top 5 reasons you shouldn't get one in retirement. Number 1 reason, who benefits from the annuity? Is the client benefiting from the annuity, or is the person that's selling it to you benefiting from the annuity, or is the insurance company that underwrites the annuity benefiting? I would argue that the advisor who gets the commission is benefiting more than the client. And I would also argue that the insurance company that underwrote the annuity is benefiting more than the client. So number 1 reason would be, if I were to invest in an annuity, then I'm the last person to benefit. I'm like number 3 in line. Everybody benefits before I do, and that's not how, I don't think investments should work that way. The idea should be the client benefits before the other people benefit. And if the advisor is providing value, then the advisor, it's okay if the advisor makes money if they're providing value. Annuities don't do that. So number 1 problem with annuities is everybody benefits before you do at the end.
So he said the number 1 out of the 5 reasons not to get an annuity in retirement is that it does not benefit the retiree when you buy an annuity in retirement, which to me is very puzzling, because if you guys have seen any of my videos, let's go over why anyone should get an annuity to begin with. Annuities have been placed in the market to do a couple of things. One is to remove a portion of your portfolio away from market risk, whatever portion that is that you deem comfortable that you want to remove from losing in the market. I'm not suggesting to take all your money and take it away from the market, because to keep up with inflation, you really should have money in the market growing, giving you market returns to keep up with inflation and to, quite frankly, just keep up with life in general. But to suggest that not having one at all is the best thing to do, obviously you guys know, if you've seen enough of my videos, you know I don't believe in that. And the other part, besides removing it from risk, the other part of annuities that's useful in retirement is giving you a portion that you choose, whatever that amount is, of lifetime income to stack on top of your Social Security, to stack on top of your pension, should you be fortunate enough to have that, to cover your very basic needs and then some, whatever it is that you feel comfortable. We can solve for that problem. And here's an example. Let's say you have $5,500 worth of bills, and let's say your Social Security covers $4,000 and your pension covers $500. So now you've got $4,500 and you need a full $1,000 to make up that difference to cover your monthly necessities in retirement after your paycheck stops. Then we're going to solve for that $1,000 income shortage. And once you have that established, you've got your Social Security at $4,000 and you've got your pension at $500, and then a $1,000 annuity on top of that. Now you've got $5,500 guaranteed coming in, month out, regardless of what happens to the market. That's what an annuity is for, is to fill in that space. Now, as inflation happens, if you need to do another one later, you can do that. The other thing that annuities are able to let you do, because you have that safety net, is that you can be maybe a little bit more aggressive on your other investments. Again, It should never be a winner take all and should not be this guy against this guy. If what's best for the client is a little bit of guarantees and a little bit of risk to be able to keep up with inflation and to be able to keep growing that portfolio, that should be the plan. It should never be never annuities or never investments, because quite frankly, I think using both is really the ideal situation. Okay. So, to suggest that annuities is the worst thing that you can put inside your portfolio is ridiculous, especially with the guarantees that it gives. And again, his number one point is that annuities don't benefit the client. It benefits the agent and the insurance company more than the client. If you're looking for safety, if you're looking for guaranteed income, how can that not be in the best interest of the client? It just doesn't make any sense. So let's move on to his video.
Next issue would be how they're sold. I hate how they're sold. They're advertised as a way to, it depends on the annuity, and there's several types. I don't want to go too far into these here. But you got fixed annuities, which is kind of like a CD. You've got fixed index annuities. You got variable annuities. For the purposes of what we're doing right now, I'm going to focus on fixed index annuities because that's what investors, especially people who are retired close to it, they're just being bombarded with it all the time. Typically, in my experience, if somebody's bringing an annuity to your attention, it's usually what's called a fixed index annuity. So what do I like about it? Number one, I already told you. Number two, it's just the way they're marketed. It's marketed as a way to get stock market returns with no risk of loss. All right. I mean, it sounds really, really good on paper, but if you do the math, doesn't that sound a little good to be true? Like, how do you get stock market returns with no risk of loss? What's the catch? So I don't like how they're marketing because they're not explaining the catch. Well, the catch is, yeah, you can participate in the market with no risk of loss, but they're going to limit what you can actually make.
Okay, so for number two, how they are sold, I actually do agree with him on this one. A lot of agents and advisors are out there promoting fixed indexed annuities and promising the world. Some of them even suggest that fixed index annuities will outperform your other investments because there's a zero floor, meaning that you can't lose money, which is true, but they tend to overpromise the other end of things with no caps or higher caps or whatever other things. The bottom line is, if you are in a fixed indexed annuity and your expectations are set in the beginning up here, yes, you could be cruising for a bruising, right? If you're dealing with us as a financial and we're talking about expectations, here's what you should expect. Expect in the long run, over a 20, 30-year period, to average between 3 to 6% in annuities, fixed index annuities in particular. That's the occasional double digit that happens maybe one every 20 years or maybe 2 out of 25 years. You get a double digit return. And then inside that same time period, you might get 2 or 3 zeros inside that 20 to 25 year period. But on average, if your expectation is to get between 3 to 6% rate of return on an annuity over a 25-year period, I think you're right on the money. That's enough to keep up with inflation. And at some point, if you choose to, you can turn it on or part of it as lifetime income. That's what the annuity is for. With proper expectations in the beginning, and you understand how it works, you understand that you're going to get between 3 to 6% and it's not going to be double digit returns. You understand that if the market is down 30%, you're going to get credited zero and you'll stay put. You won't go down, but you won't go up on that particular year. And then on the following years, expect between 3 to 6%. And don't get too excited if you see one double digit, if there's an unlimited cap and one ends up getting you 11%. Don't get excited like it's going to happen all the time. Again, on average, in a 20, 25-year period, if you see one double digit, if you happen to have an uncapped strategy, and then you get a couple of zeros, still expect between 3 to 6%, pretty safe area, I think, to expect. So again, it's all about expectations. He's talking about fixed indexed annuities there, which some of those you can have a rider where you can turn it on lifetime income at some point in the future after you've grown it a bit more. Okay. So number 2, he says how they're sold. I do agree in that part because there will be a lot of overpromising and hype out there, especially when it comes to fixed indexed annuities. But if your expectations between 3 to 6% over the long term, mixed in with zeros and an occasional double digit return on uncapped strategies, possibly. But again, 3 to 6%. Now let's move on. Let's let him continue.
So I wouldn't propose an annuity to a client who's looking for stock market return.
So again, I agree with him on that. If you're looking for stock market returns, the annuity is not going to deliver that to you. 3 to 6% on average on a long haul, yes. Stock market returns, that's why you buy the annuity, is so that when your annuity covers your risk tolerance and your income, and let's say the rest of your portfolio is still in the market, you can be a little bit riskier with those. It gives you a net. Think of it as a trapeze, okay? Can a trapeze artist be more of a showman if there's a net down below? Or would he be more conservative, obviously? If there's no net down below, he might be a little bit tight on his performance up top, right? But if he knows that there's a catch down here, or she knows that there's a catch, or the annuity, you might risk a little bit more on this side and be a little bit more on the performance should there be a net, in this case, an annuity. So that's kind of where it comes in. The annuity is a good complement in your portfolio because with that safety net, with the guarantees built in, you could be a little bit riskier on the other side to maybe get a little bit more gain possibility, right? So let's keep going.
There's no risk of loss because there are alternatives to that wouldn't require a client to lock their money up, wouldn't do caps, wouldn't do this, wouldn't.
So again, I agree with him there. Okay, there are alternatives to tying your money up in an annuity, as long as you understand what's out there, right? There's dividend stocks that you can peel off interest as income. There's bonds available out there, right? There's ETFs that's available out there that you could use. There's a number of other places you could have rental income, a number of other places you can get income from. But to exclude a guaranteed income annuity out of all of that, again, that's silly, right? So annuity should be part of the conversation. It shouldn't be the only thing in the conversation. You know, you've got dividend stocks that pay, you've got ETFs, you've got bonds that can pay, you can have rental income, but certainly annuities should be part of the conversation. That's all I'm saying.
Amount of money you can pull out of it. I mean, there's so many limitations to an annuity. It's not only annoying, it's just not good for clients.
Guaranteed income, safety and security, not good for clients.
Number 3, I'm frustrated with not just the way they're marketed, the people that are marketed. I mean, there's so many advisors out there that are setting themselves out as fiduciaries, and then they turn around and sell somebody an annuity. I don't know how, as a fiduciary, you set yourself up as someone who's legally required to work in the best interest of your client, and then turn around and say, hey, I'm working in your best interest. How about if we...
So again, as a fiduciary, legally bound to do what's in the best interest of the client. Yet he tells you that to suggest guaranteed income and safety is not in your best interest in retirement just doesn't jive with me. Okay. So advisors selling themselves as fiduciary, yet selling annuity. That's what he said. I don't know how a fiduciary can suggest that a client takes a portion of their portfolio and put it into an annuity. My question to Mike is, how do you not, as a fiduciary, have guarantees as part of the portfolio? How do you not remove the portion that you're not comfortable losing away from risk? It's just silliness, you know? Again, if you want income besides annuities, there's dividend stocks, ETFs, mutual funds, bonds, right? There's also rental income. I'm not saying annuities is the only answer. I'm saying it should be part of the conversation. All right, let him continue.
Take a portion of the market. I heard that competitor the other day do a radio show, and the proposal was, hey, we'll just put half the money in this annuity, put half of it over here. And then they set themselves up as a fiduciary. That makes no sense. As a fiduciary, you're required to work in your client's best interest. And if you actually took the time to look at all of the investment options that are available, as a fiduciary, an annuity shouldn't make sense.
As a fiduciary, an annuity shouldn't make sense. Again, all I'm suggesting to you people out there is this. There are a number of options. Annuity should be part of the conversation. It's up to you to make an informed decision based on what's out there, information that's being suggested in the public sphere, as well as these advisors. If Mike was your advisor, here's what I would suggest that you ask him, or any advisor for that matter, that's maybe having the same conversation with you. Okay. Ask these two questions. One, for the portion of my portfolio that I do not want at risk in the market, but want to be able to keep up with inflation, what do you have that can guarantee me a return of, say, 5 to 6% annually for the next 3 to 5 years, guaranteed? Guys, unless you're talking about an annuity, there is nothing out there, okay? If you want, as of today's recording, it's 2026, between 3 to 5 year, if you want guaranteed returns between 5 and 6%, the only thing that's out there that's guaranteed is what they call a multi-year guaranteed annuity. He also referred to it as a fixed annuity, okay? Nothing out there can guarantee that other than a MIGA. As of this recording right now, you could do a 5-year MIGA, fixed, locked in for in the mid to upper fives, guaranteed. No questions asked. It's just what it is, right? Nothing else is out there. You can't say guaranteed on anything other than the annuity. In that particular case, a MIGA. And then the second thing is you can ask your advisor, or Mike, if he's your advisor, if you want a guaranteed, let's say example, $1,000 a month for the rest of my life, what do you have that can guarantee that? Guys, unless he's got a lifetime annuity, he can't guarantee it. Because there's nothing out there that's contractually obligated to do that for you. And that's been going on for years, a couple hundred years. Lifetime annuities have been around. Your Social Security is a lifetime annuity. Your pension is a lifetime annuity. Now, obviously, if the company that holds the pension, I don't know, goes under, it's possible you might not get that. But from an insurance carrier, income annuity for life, they're the only ones that have been able to deliver that guarantee for the last 100, 200 years. There's nothing else out there. So I don't even know how that's a conversation. Let's let them move on.
In the capacity that my goal is to help my clients with stock market returns with no risk of loss. You don't have to lock the clients up for 10 years in an account to make that happen. You don't have to cap the returns on the S&P 500 to make that happen. There are other.
Okay, so let's talk about the conversation when it comes to annuities and locking up your money, because that is true. Consider that money gone. If you turn over that portion, let's say you have $1 million, and you decide, okay, 250,000 I'm turning over for a guaranteed rate of return. When I turn that over for a MIGA for 5 years, I no longer have control of that money for 5 years. I give it to them. They're going to guarantee me, let's say, 5.8% return for the next 5 years. It's tied up for 5 years. Yes, that's how the annuity works. Annuities are contracts between the insured, or you, and the insurance company. They're going to guarantee you 5.8% return, let's say, for the next 5 years. And in return, you're going to give them your money and they get to hold it. That's the agreement. They're going to guarantee you a rate of return for 5 years. You're going to give up control of that money. That's the give and take. It's a contract. Okay? And as long as you're comfortable with that going in, then there you are. Right? And quite frankly, at 5.8%, you might want to lock that up for 5 years, because you're not going to get it anywhere else guaranteed, tax deferred. So that matters quite a bit.
Investment options are huge. So it just doesn't make sense. Number 4, now I'm thinking a little bit. It was really easy for 1, 2, 3.
So he creates a video, the top 5 reasons not to get an annuity, but he gets to number 4 and he struggles because he can't come up with one. Well, now he comes up with one.
Number 4, it's irritating to me that if I was to go sell a bunch of these annuities, some firm, some insurance company or somebody's just going to pat me on the back and they say, hey, good job. You just locked a bunch of people's money up for the next 10 years on this annuity account. You limited their gains on the S&P 500. But hey, don't worry, it's safe because you're not going to lose any money. Here's your free trip of 1. And it's just annoying. And it's, again, not a fiduciary responsibility. So if you're working with an advisor that's selling you annuities, ask them how many annuities they have to sell before they get a free trip. And that's what I would do. This sounds funny, but ask them.
He thinks it's funny. Okay. Well, let's talk about that. First of all, let's talk a little bit about how advisors and insurance professionals get paid, because how you get paid should be irrelevant. And let me explain why. Okay. But since he wants to bring it up, we're going to talk about it. So fee-based, and I'm guessing he's a fee-based or fee-only advisors, are paid by the client. Fee-based and fee-only advisors are paid by you. The money comes from your portfolio. And for example, let's say it's a 1% fee, okay, on a portfolio. If your average portfolio balance is $1 million, 1% is $10,000 a year. If you have a 20-year relationship, that's 10,000 times 20. That's 200,000 in fees that you're paying this guy who's making fun of insurance agents going on trips. If he goes on a trip, and I guarantee you he's going to go on a trip, it'll be on your dime because you paid him 10 grand a year. Came from you. And by the way, studies have shown that 1% fee drag over time is the main reason, or one of the main reasons, financial advisors do not do as well performance-wise as a low-fee ETF. Because once you factor in their fees over time and how much that cuts into your profits, if you compare it to just a low-fee ETF, the ETFs based on the S&P 500 outperforms most, if not all, of your financial advisors out there. So think about that. Fee-based, fee-only advisors, you pay. Let's go to the insurance professionals. Insurance professionals are paid by the insurance carrier, not by you, by them. In turn, it's a contract. You're tied up your money for the 5-year MIGA, for the 3-year MIGA, or if it's a fixed indexed annuity, for at the very least the 7 or 10-year surrender period. That's the agreement. You sign a contract with the insurance carrier. They're going to hold your money for 7 to 10 years minimum up to the surrender period. And in turn, they're going to give you back a rate of return that's good, that you can expect to be between 3 to 6%. No market loss. Eventually, if you wanted to turn on the income, you could turn on income for life or whatever set amount of time you wanted to do. Okay? So that's how, so insurance-based professionals get paid commission. And these guys always vilify that because you're working on commission. Well, they're working on fees. The commission is paid by the insurance carrier. The fees are paid by you. You decide what you want to do, right? You want to pay them $10,000 a year, $200,000 over a 20-year period, $300,000 over a 30-year period. That's your option. The fee drag, all of that. Or do we, again, well, I don't know why it's relevant that insurance companies pay commissions and you pay the fees. It's really not, but I'm bringing it up because he brought it up. Okay? So the annuities that the insurance company pays commission off of doesn't affect you directly. The fee-based drag does. So again, because he brought it up and he's making fun of vacations, like he doesn't go on vacations on your dime, that he charged you 1% over time. Some advisors get paid 1.5, some 2.5. You do the math on that. Okay. So again, commission versus fee-based, one's not better than the other. Trust me. Over time, that fee-based really eats at you, and it's you paying them directly. Insurance carriers pay the commission to insurance professionals indirectly. Doesn't affect you straight on. Will they ask you for a longer term relationship? Yeah. 5-year, 10-year? Sure. But you're not paying the fee directly. Fee-based, fee-only advisors, they're charging you 1% annually, 2% annually, 1.5%. 0.75, whatever it is, you're paying for it directly. So if they go on vacation, no, it's not bought by the insurance carrier. They bought it off of your dime. Let's not get started about vacations and fees because we can be there all day. Let's move on.
What free trip are you going? Who's paying for the trip? Number 5, it's just disingenuous. It's just not good financial planning. It's just too easy.
Guaranteed income, safety and security of your principal, not good financial planning. Just let that sink in.
To sit down with a potential client and say, hey, you want your money saved? Hey, you want guaranteed income for life? Hey, you're afraid of stock market returns. It's too easy to use scare tactics and go look at all the volatility in the market. Hey, this is what you should do. Lock your money up in this account the rest of your life. That's what the guaranteed income for life really means, is you're in that account for the rest of your life. But what they're not telling you is the problem. What they're not telling you is, yeah, that insurance company is going to write you a check every month for the rest of your life. But in most cases, I'm not going to say all, but in most cases, the check is the same. What about inflation?
So let's break that down real quick. He says number 5 is just annuities is not part of a good financial plan. So let's just go over that real quick. So number one, removing a portion of your portfolio away from market loss, yet still earn a reasonable amount between 3 to 6% in the case of a fixed indexed annuity. That's not good financial planning. Away from loss and between 3 to 6% average rate of return. Not good financial planning. That's the fixed indexed annuity. Secondly, guaranteeing a fixed rate of return between 5 to 6% based on today's recording on a 3 to 5 year MIGA is not good planning. Guaranteed 5 to 6% between 3 and 5 year MIGAs. Not good planning. Guaranteed. Okay. Number 3, guaranteeing an income for life for as long as you are breathing, which is your lifetime income annuity. Not part of good financial planning based on what Mike Lester's saying. Just think about that, guys. Again, we're not suggesting you put all your money into annuities, but it should be part of conversation, right? Whether the fiduciary is able to sell annuities or don't want to sell annuities, whatever it is, they should include it in the conversation because it is part of really good financial planning. The math proves that out. A lot of studies have proved that out. Yes, use bonds. Yes, if you choose dividend paying stocks, ETFs, whatever it is, mutual funds, real estate, whatever other things that are out there. Okay, that's all I'm saying. I'm sure Mike's a nice guy, a lot of happy clients, but to not include it and to vilify annuities as a bad choice after your income stops in retirement, your paycheck stopped coming. All you're relying on now is Social Security and your pension. And then you have this bucket of money that can go up or down in retirement. To suggest that annuities should never be part of that is foolish, especially for a fiduciary. Hope that helps, guys. I know you can tell I'm a little passionate about that. Again, we don't suggest a one size fits all, advisory. You should look at all of it, make an informed decision based on what is out there for you. Whether it's real estate, ETFs, dividend paying stocks, mutual funds, annuities should be part of the conversation. Again, it takes a portion of your portfolio, takes it away from all the risk of the market. In a MIGA, it'll pay you a fixed rate, between 5 and 6% as of today's recording. The higher rated companies, you might be in a 4% range, but either way, still guaranteed. Fixed indexed annuities with the proper expectation of between 3 to 6% on average in a long run. And then lifetime income annuities. How do you exclude that from the conversation? I don't know. Roland Harmio, Say Financial, 985-464-9595. I hope this helps.